a story near and dear to my heart. Ticketmaster, after the fracas, that's a good word for it,
great word,
of what happened with the Taylor Swift sale. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Well, it turns out we're not the only ones who took notice. The Department of Justice is investigating Ticketmaster's parent company, which recently combined in 2010 with the promoter Live Nation. This can get a little bit complicated to understand, but it's a bit simple. Ticketmaster obviously is the place that sells the tickets. Live Nation is the promoter which puts on 40,000 events around the world, sold 485 million tickets through Ticketmaster, according to its own company support. It is one of the music industry's largest powers for management, for the personal representatives who actually negotiate the business deals on behalf of the artists, and it has over 100 managers who are working with 450 artists. Why does that matter? Because it's vertically integrated, as in they're the ones who work with the artists, they're the ones who put on the shows, do the promotion, and then use Ticketmaster to then sell, presumably rolling up the fees and getting as much of a profit as possible, and gouging us and all of us even more so for the fake fees at the end whenever you go ahead and check out. The reason why it's really in the public consciousness right now is the fallout from what happened at the Taylor Swift sale. So there's been a slight update, since we went ahead and did that segment. It's actually much worse, which is that after all of the slowdown with the pre-sale, where effectively people were stranded for hours online as to whether they were going to be able to get these tickets or not, then there was a Capital One pre-sale, and that too was a massive failure. Tickets were then supposed to go on sale to the general public. But then they pulled that out at the last minute with some absurd and insane statement where they said that given pre-existing inventory that from the sale, that tickets would no longer be available, which means that the pre-sale itself was the real sale.
That was it.
And the Gen Pop had no chance to actually buy any tickets to these actual shows, meaning all of us who were not able to get tickets to the show now have to go on StubHub and look at ones which are going for like $3,000, $4,000 a seat. I'm sorry, Taylor, it's not gonna happen. Love you, but that's just too much for me. And like, you have all of these cases of fans who really, look, everybody knows it's kind of a crapshoot whenever you want to go to a concert, especially of somebody of this caliber. They're expecting to pay some money, but they do not expect to be treated so terribly by the company. And then even for those who were lucky enough to get the tickets, they were paying hundreds of dollars in fees, so-called convenience fees, so you can get it on my phone in the year 2022. It's totally absurd. The same thing happened when I bought Blink-182 tickets. I paid over $150 in fees for like 4 tickets. And it's just one of those things where you just eat it. And by the way, I hate to say it, guess who's selling our tickets for our shows, our live shows? We have no choice. There was no ask, nothing. Given the venue, you get the deal, you get paid out your sum, and that's it. Whoever your audience is coming, I don't know. We have no idea.
Right.
We have no data, nothing. Ticketmaster gets to sell it. They get to charge our fans, people who we love and respect and like hold so dear, like they get to charge them convenience fees. There's nothing that we can do about it.
Yep.
And look, if Pearl Jam couldn't win this contest,
right.
If Taylor Swift is at the whims of these people, like, what are people like us supposed to do?
Well, and of course, proud to be partnered with Matt Stoller, who's been doing amazing work on this. We had him on Krystal and Friends last week, too, to explain all of this and to break it all down. And just to give you a little bit more of the backstory, so this merger was approved, I think under the Obama administration, between Live Nation and Ticketmaster. It was controversial at the time because people could see like, oh, this could really, this could become a behemoth that just has complete control over the entire industry. And so when the merger was approved, over significant opposition, by the way, what the Justice Department decided to do is they required them to sell some parts of the business, but they also required them to reach a legal settlement where Live Nation was not allowed to threaten concert venues with losing access to artists that it promotes as part of its services. So what they're saying is basically like, okay, if you decide not to use Ticketmaster, you're not allowed to then punish these venues by saying, well, you're not going to get to have access to any of these tours and any of these artists that we work with. Well, guess what? They didn't follow that agreement. In late 2019, there was an investigation. The Justice Department found that Live Nation had repeatedly violated this part of the decree. They then extended the terms of the settlement by 5 years to 2025. They adjusted some of the language to make it more clear of like, you're not allowed to bully and cajole and threaten and withhold other artists and other tours from these venues if they decide not to use your services. But just to give you one window into the type of abusive behavior that they have engaged in, and not just abusive, but outright illegal. That's one of the things that the Justice Department is reportedly looking into. And, you know, this is one of the areas, like I got a lot of criticisms of the Biden administration. This is one area where they have been genuinely better than Trump, certainly wildly better than the Obama administration, than the Clinton administration, the Bush administration. I mean, it has been decades since we had an administration that was remotely serious about actual antitrust. And so this effort to investigate Ticketmaster is part of that. You know, another, they successfully persuaded a judge to block Penguin Random House's purchase of Simon & Schuster. They've had pushed some other cases that they've been unsuccessful at. But overall, they've tried to take a different approach to antitrust that isn't just on this question of whether or not consumers are getting lower prices. It used to be very, very narrow and very, very limited. The Justice Department was very lax about what mergers they let go through. And so it's going to take a while to sort of reorient all of antitrust law back to how it should have been to start with. But this is a really important step in that direction.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift actually put out a statement. Let's go ahead and put it up there on the screen. I'll go ahead and read it. And she says, well, it goes without saying I'm extremely protective of my fans. We've been doing this for decades. I've brought so many elements of my career in-house. I've done this specifically to improve the quality of the experience by doing it myself with my team, who care as much about my fans as I do. It's really difficult for me to trust an outside entity with these relationships and loyalties, and excruciating for me to just watch mistakes happen with no recourse. There are a multitude of reasons why people had such a hard time trying to get tickets. I'm trying to figure out how the situation can be improved. I'm not going to make excuses for anyone because we asked them multiple times if they could handle this kind of demand, and we were reassured that they could. It is truly amazing 2.4 million people got tickets, but it really pisses me off that a lot of them feel like they had to go through several bear attacks to get them. And to those who didn't, all I can say is my hope is to provide more opportunities for us to get together and sing these songs. Thanks for wanting to be there. So a couple of veiled threats there. Number one, bringing in-house after she took on both Apple and Spotify, which we'll recall, you know, she's, you know, re-recording her albums. She's kind of been a pioneer in the music industry, trying to like use her position to try and make it better for artists like all the way down. So this could be an opportunity, like truly taking on the power of Ticketmaster. But I think the fact is she didn't name them for a reason, guys. Like they're still very powerful. And, you know, at the end of the day, she's not saying like, oh, I've got extra tickets or I'm going to be doing, it's like, well, she's like, well, for those who got tickets, it's great. I'll see you all there. For everybody else, I hope we can do something in the future. It's like, all right. I mean, I guess that's nice. It's good to see that you're pissed off. Will you actually speak out against the company? We'll see. Overall, very, very positive development. You know, our brief foray into live events has really taught us that, Krystal. Just like how little power that you have whenever you're putting on this show. Like like we're the ones ultimately who are putting butts in seats. And we could do nothing, you know, in taking on the people who sell the tickets. You know, it's all pre-negotiated, like all this other stuff. And to the extent that you have any power, it's only somebody like her. And even whenever they colossally screw up her sale of tickets, she cannot name them in her statement. I think that shows you everything about where the power lies.
Yeah, I wish she would sue them, honestly.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be good for the industry.
She at least has like the money to get like the good lawyers and actually make a case.
Well, especially if she got an assurance in writing, like we can, you know, do this.
We will be able to handle but probably they had their butts covered because they know how.
They always do.
I mean, this is the other problem when you have a monopoly. Is like you have no incentive to keep your system up to date. You have no incentive to make it a good customer experience. You have no incentive to do anything for anyone because you're a monopolist. You can do whatever the hell you want and just gouge the hell out of people. And even Taylor Swift is like, you know, subject to his mercy to your whims and the failures of your platform. So it's not an accident that you had this level of failure on the Ticketmaster platform. It comes directly out of the result of them being a monopoly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.